somehow. So, but yeah, I don't know. How's the weather where you're at right now? Because it is so hot here.
Well, see, the problem with Georgia is that it's humid.
Yeah, Georgia is
So
bad.
90 feels like 100, and it's
Hmm.
like, but it hit 90 something today.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't too bad today. I mean, like it's been worse. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it was like I think we had a feels like of 118 yesterday.
Ay,
But
yikes!
yeah, it was gross. It was
In
really
Texas?
gross. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It was
Gee.
gross.
And it's
So,
humid there too. Well, it depends on which city you're in, but it's
yeah.
pretty.
Yeah, it was humid too, and I think that's the part where when it's hot like that, it's like you can taste the air, you can eat it. You can eat the air
Yeah,
when you walk outside. It's so bad.
you feel like you're in a sauna.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Can I get some air?
Yeah, no, it's really bad. It's really humid here, and but today wasn't too bad. Today it was like 97. So it was a little
Ah,
little cooler. Yeah. But
if it's 97 here, it'll be more like 110.
yeah, yeah, it's ugly. I hate summers now. I used to love them and now I just hate them.
I
I think
still love them.
menopause did it for me. Like the second I started going through menopause, I'm like, nope, I hate it.
We've adapted, but we're from the southern hemisphere, so
Yeah,
I don't like the cold. I don't like the cold. That's why I'm not in the north.
yeah.
Although my personality and my politics and everything else like that is more northern than anything. I hate
Hmm.
the south, but I'm down here because of the cost of living is a
Hmm.
little lower and the weather.
Yeah, yeah. Well, everybody, thank you so much for coming in. We're going to go ahead and get started. So, Chris Resist is supposed to be joining us. I'm sure he'll just kind of come in whenever, or maybe he just got hung up and he's not able to join us. But either way, doesn't matter. We're going to have a story time session with King Ray. So, for those of you who don't know him, I had the honor of meeting with him a while ago and got to know him. We had a kind of a getting to know you session. He has so many amazing stories, and I just love listening to his stories. So, I said, hey, I would love to hop on a live and do some more story time with you and hear about your life and just hear about who you are because you're such an interesting person, and I love that. But he's actually the eldest son of legend Bob Gibson of the St. Louis Cardinals. And he has had an incredible life growing up. I mean, just from childhood stories to being a teenager to growing up into an adult. He's also a veteran, and I love hearing all of his stories. So if you would please introduce yourself to everybody, and then I don't know, whatever you want to talk about, I'm here to listen and all ears, and I'm sure I have a lot of questions for you as well. So
Okay. Well, I'm Ray Gibson, otherwise known as King Ray Vet on this platform. Um, as she said, I'm the eldest. I'm the firstborn of Bob Gibson and Charlene Gibson. That was my mother. And my life. Okay, I grew up in Omaha, Nebraska, and there weren't any affluent blacks in Omaha except my father, Bob Boozer, and other people, I suppose. Did you know Malcolm X was born in Omaha?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. But he left, so he wasn't really raised there. Which
right,
I don't know if he would have been the way he was if he was raised
right.
in Omaha,
In
because
Omaha.
yeah, that place
Mhm,
is so conservative and
mhm.
just obnoxious. And I broke every conservative idea known to man.
Right.
I'm this little black kid riding around on motorcycles and mini bikes and crap like that in the streets of Omaha, getting caught, um, having to have my dad bail me out because he knew affluent people in the police area.
Hmm.
And he'd get me off and say, stop driving around on the street. Okay, Dad. And then I'd do it again the next week. So
A terror.
uh, I just could not be contained. I mean, they tried to contain me and I just couldn't. I'd slip through their fingers. we had a second home really in St. Louis. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we traveled with the team, and the team would buy up either housing subdivisions or, they'd rent them for all of the players of the team.
Yeah.
And so
It's kind of like what
we were
NASA
always,
does, like all the astronauts are like in the same neighborhood.
yes.
Yeah. So they had all,
Well, only when they're working, though,
yeah.
because then they go home after whatever it is that they do. Then they go back home.
Mm-hmm.
So, my dad would never, ever leave Omaha, even though I tried to talk him into it a couple of times. When I grew up. But so so I lost my train of thought about Omaha, something about Omaha and breaking all the
Yeah,
rules.
that's where you were raised and you were a wild child. You gave your parents a lot of grief.
Independent. At the ballparks, they could not, my mother, she had to start telling people in the ballpark to look out for me because as soon as the game started, I was gone. I was, Bush Memorial Stadium was my playground.
Yeah.
And so I was all over that ballpark. I knew every inch of that place.
Yeah.
And they literally send out a search team at the end of the games to come find me. But people would spot me and, they would take me back to my mother at the end of the games.
Yeah.
And then me and my dad was not very fan friendly.
No.
It just wasn't, There was 2 levels you could get off to go to the garage.
Mm-hmm.
The first level where you'd come out and all the fans were out there. We didn't get off. We didn't go there.
Yeah.
We'd go up to the second floor and walk across this bridge to the garage. And every time we did that, one of these fans would notice and they'd say, "Hey!" It sounded like slow motion to me as a little kid. There's Gibson! Get out! And they take off after us.
Yeah.
And my dad would grab my arm. I was really little. I've always been little. And I'd be flying. He'd grab my hand and we'd take off across the bridge and then jump in his car. And by this time, I don't know how many people caught up to us, but they caught up to us. They'd surround the car. He had a Ferrari. He started that thing. Oh, Ferrari's engine. And he would just start backing up. So people were flying every which way. And he was like, he's okay. They surrounded me. Boom. He's kicking in reverse. People would fly and then we'd leave.
Yeah.
I had so much fun.
So did your dad just not like the extra attention he got from being
exactly,
or did it have to do with kind of the times too? Because this was in the 60s, right?
Yes, but he didn't like that kind of attention. He just didn't.
Loner.
He was very focused, very intense.
Mm-hmm.
When he was pitching, you couldn't talk to him.
Yeah.
The players couldn't talk to him, let alone the fans. And they would be hanging out over the railing, waving their whatever in their hands in his face. Sign this, Bob. And he would just ignore him and go out to the field. So one day I was sitting there watching this. I was sitting just a little bit away from them. And I'm just sitting there watching them be all grumbling and mad because he wouldn't sign their little whatever.
Yeah.
And the stupid usher said, well, there's one of his kids. I got rushed by all these people. And I was like, and they were asking me all these questions. What's the matter with your dad? How come he won't sign this? Blah, 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 blah. I said, I don't know. And I'm signing stuff. And I said, this isn't him. I'm not him. We don't care. And they kept shoving stuff. I was so, I started hating them fans too. Ask such personal questions as though
people feel entitled, when you're like a public figure, they just feel entitled to your life. Yeah.
That part. I mean, about everything. Mm-hmm. Everything that went on was just mind blowing to a kid.
Yeah.
Just like, oh. And guess what? That was the last time I sat that close to the dugout.
Yeah, mm-hmm. I bet.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't like being bum rushed either. I get weirded out when people bum rush me. And it's not because I'm famous or anything like that, but just even when I'm in a crowd and there's too many people coming at me at the same time, I immediately start to gravitate away.
Yeah. So do I. I mean, I was shy. I was extremely shy. I didn't talk much at all. And you talk about your experiences in your past and busting out of that. Well, I busted out of that because of drugs
and
alcohol. when I was 15 or 14 or something like it. I was weird anyway. I mean, we used to freaking snort aerosol deodorant in baggies.
Yeah, that's
And
weird.
anyone would get a high. I mean, we played this game where you stand behind somebody and they count to 3 or whatever. They hold their breath and you pick them up and you squeeze them as hard as you can.
To pass
Well, we did
out.
that. Yeah, one kid
Yeah.
passed out named Ricky.
Yeah.
He was waking up real quick, and we got scared and thought we killed him. And
Yeah, your generation was just dangerous. You guys tried to kill
didn't
each
have
other.
helmets. Who cares about helmets and all that crap they wear to ride
Who wears a
bicycle?
seatbelt?
We didn't wear no seatbelts. Well, they were in the car, but we didn't wear them. So
Yeah.
we were. It's amazing we turned out the way we did and didn't kill our fool selves.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've got so many crazy stories of being them trying to contain me and me doing something really wild. I almost burnt the car up.
Jesus.
My mother wouldn't give me. I was in trouble for something, and she wouldn't give me gas money for my mini bike. And we used to take my bike and go across the street behind these houses and run around this little track. And so us bright-eyed 11-year-olds, 10-year-olds, 11 years old, figured out that we would siphon the gas out of the car with a vacuum cleaner.
Oh, smart. Yeah.
Oh, so we didn't want to put our mouth on garden hose.
Right.
We were scared to get the gas in our mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So she had a shop vac. There was a shop vac in the garage, and so we took it, shoved a hose down into the gas tank, and turned it on.
Yeah.
And stood around. All 5 of us were standing there watching it, and it blew up.
I can imagine. So electricity and gas,
Pop went boom, and it hit the ceiling, and fire was going up there, and this little boy standing there got both his eyebrows singed, and he had blonde hair. He took off screaming down the street. I'm yelling to pull the plug, pull the plug, pull the plug, and we pulled the plug, and the shop vac was all burnt up, and I pushed it in the corner. And about 3 days later, my mom came back and she said, does anybody know what happened to the shop vac? And I said, the what? I didn't know what it was. It was a vacuum cleaner to me.
Yeah.
She said, the vacuum cleaner in the garage. I went, I don't know. That was my favorite thing to say is I don't know, because I couldn't lie very well.
Well, doesn't that kind of give you like plausibility or plausible deniability too? Like, is that's the right word? I don't know. I make up a lot of words here. Plausible deniability.
Sure. Yeah. If I just said I don't know, then nobody would figure anything out. But when I turned 30, I told her all of the fucked up things I did as a kid and got away with it, and they didn't know what happened. I told her everything on a vacation in Laguna Beach, California, in Warren Buffett's house.
Oh, wow. Well, you went to Warren Buffett's house?
Yeah.
My God.
He was a friend. Well, he's a friend of my dad.
Oh, wow.
So he's from Omaha. He still lives in Omaha. But I grew up with his kids. Now, Warren was a strange man to a kid.
Yeah.
He never said anything. He'd have these big, lavish parties in his house, and he just sat at the head of the table and never said a word. He would just watch everybody else talk.
Just an ominous
He would never say anything.
Wow.
And I was side-eyeing him.
Yeah. Yeah.
One time I asked Peter was my buddy, his younger son. I said, what's your dad? He said, what do you mean? I said, does he ever speak? He said, yes, he speaks. And I went, oh, well, okay, sorry I asked.
Yeah.
And Peter and I were weird because we were opposites. He was a musician type. He was an artist type. I was an athlete.
Yeah.
They had a racquetball court in the basement of their house.
Mm-hmm.
I would take him down there and whoop his ass. And he said, I don't want to play anymore. I said, okay, fine.
Man, I don't want to play no more.
I don't want to play you anymore. So then I'd go up and watch him play piano, and I was so bored. I was just sitting there like, but we made it work.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
He had a tape recorder, and he brought it to our house during one of my mom's parties with the aunties and all the cousins that they do playing spades and all the other crap they were playing.
Yeah.
We snuck the recorder right by the card table and turned it on and hid down the hall in the furnace room. And we're sitting there laughing because of what they were cussing and oh man, it came out. And then all of a sudden I heard my mother say, "What's this?" And we looked at each other. Like, oh. And so she did. She followed the cord into the room and busted open the door, and we were like, "Ah!" And she said,
Mm-hmm.
"What are you guys up to?"
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, give me the tape recorder. Or no, give me the cassette.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't take the recorder. She said, take the cassette out and give it to me. And so we gave it to her. And go upstairs. So we went upstairs and Peter recorded the toilet flushing. And
I know, my kids do the same thing right now. They just record the weirdest shit. The other day, my son, he's got this like little toy phone because I don't let him have real phones yet. I mean, he's 9. He doesn't need a real phone yet. So I gave him like this kind of fake phone that he can at least just take pictures on and videos. And he came downstairs and we're watching a congressional hearing. And he's like, "Can I record this?" I'm like, "Why would you want to record this?" And he goes, "I don't know. It's cool." So he got his phone and he went right up and got right up to the guy's face and started recording. And I'm like, what is so cool about that? You're weird.
What's so cool about recording a toilet flushing? It's like, what the hell?
No, but you know what? That's the cool thing about kids though too, is that they think everything is cool. I mean, this is like their first time living. That they've only been on the earth for 9 years, and it's like everything is new, everything's fun, even though it's stupid to us. We just kind of look at them like, okay, weirdo.
I know. Okay. I knew my mother thought I was weird because I studied the dictionary. She said, "Wouldn't you like to read a book?"
No, I did that too because I liked to write, and I hated the same words. I was like, every time I wrote a story, it's he nodded, she nodded, they nod, everyone's fucking nodding. And I was like, I need a new word for nod. So yeah, I would read the dictionary too because I wanted to know different words, and I would use them in sentences too. At like 10 years old, I'd say, my favorite one was, "Well, isn't that facetious?" And I thought I was so fancy.
I gotta love you. You remind me so much of me. I mean, and I'm 20 years your elder, something like that.
Well, I don't know, man. How old are you?
I'll be 69 in a month.
Okay, well, I'll be 44 in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I got you by 20.
There's a generation there, yeah.
But it doesn't even matter. Kids are kids. Some of us are strange like that, and some of us, boring. I mean, I was the type of kid that, don't you be vanilla and boring. I'm going to figure out a way to push you.
I'm going to be spicy.
Right all over you.
Yep, I'm going to be spicy. You know what, though? I was kind of the same way, too, as a kid, where around certain people, I was pretty silent, around like my parents, and I kind of minded myself, and, children are to be seen and not heard. And, I was kind of like that. But around my friends, I was the life of the party.
Oh, I fixed that. Okay. You want me to be seen and not heard? Fine, I'll act out. And I just acted out all the time. I was always grounded. I was always in trouble. And my sister was even worse. My little sister, I didn't stick around her because she was a snitch. So I would leave her places.
Yeah.
Seriously. Yeah. There was a park across the street, and we'd go over to that. My mother said, "Take your sister with you." I'm like, "Oh, man." So I'd go across the park, and I'd say, "Annette, there was this big structure, looked like a rocket." I'd say, "Go up to the top of that rocket."
Oh, my God.
And she'd say, "Okay." And she'd start climbing, and I'd take off, right, and leave her there. And then, of course, she would tell on me.
Yeah.
But I'd much rather ditch her than her to see what I was doing by taking her with me. I mean, I was all the way across in another neighborhood chasing girls.
Yeah.
I didn't want her running back and telling my friends, "Oh,
Yeah, killing my
this was
vibe. Yeah.
yeah."
Yeah.
So I did it 3 times. She fell for that. Little the younger siblings, God, they fall for stuff.
I know.
And because they're looking up to me. She didn't think I would be that devious to her, but I was. I mean, I would have nickels and dimes in my hand,
Mm-hmm.
and she'd have 4 quarters. And I told her, Annette, look at all this money.
Mm-hmm.
I'll trade you this for them quarters. She said, oh, yeah, there is a lot of coins here. Okay. And she'd give me her quarters and I'd give her 50 cents.
I know. You know what? I asshole. That was me as a kid. That's what my brother used to do that. He used to do that every single time too. He would do that stuff to me all the time. I think the worst thing I ever did to my little brother was he couldn't say, for some reason he couldn't say the word fire truck. He always said fire fuck. So
Oh,
I was like, Adam, go over. And there was this neighborhood girl that I lived next to, and she was such a bitch. I couldn't stand her. She was just mean, and she picked on me a lot. And I was like, Adam, go call her a fire truck. So he's like, he went up to her and he's like, fire fuck,
oh my God.
Indicated. I
Did
know.
she
And then,
smack him?
what's that?
Smack him around? Did she smack him around?
No, she got mad. She told her parents, and her dad was friends with my dad. So of course
Oh,
the dads talked, and then my dad came up to me and was just, did you tell Adam? I'm like, fuck yeah, I told Adam that.
I hate that girl.
Yeah, no, I
But
couldn't stand that little girl, man. She was so mean to me.
on another note,
Mean.
I grew up at a time we moved to an all white neighborhood uh, before I went into the 4th grade,
Yeah.
and that presented a whole different arena that I
Mm-hmm.
was not prepared for. But I learned to blend in. Like I didn't. There were cliques, the
Mm-hmm.
jocks, the bookworms. I belonged to all of them at the same time. That's how I learned how to survive. Being the only black kid, there was only 2 in the school,
Yeah.
and 4 when my sister and this other girl's sister were in the 7th grade, and we were in the 9th grade.
Mm-hmm.
We only got to see each other during that time, during that year, and so to survive, I had to blend into everything because I wasn't included in everything.
Yeah. Did you ever
So
feel like unsafe in some of these groups? Because, we're seeing all these kids right now, these black kids going out with their white friends and not coming home. And, even with mine and Derek's kids, they're my stepchildren, but I mean, their mom passed away and I'm literally the only mother figure in their life now. So they're my kids. And
okay,
I worry about them every time. Like every time my daughter, who's darker presenting, goes out with her group of white friends, like I'm always on the phone. I'm like this. I'm like, where you at now? Where you at now? Turn your location on. Why isn't your location on? Like I'm kind of a overbearing mother when it comes to her. And then I don't find myself doing that with my whiter presenting kids because
yeah,
it's like I feel the world is so fucking dangerous for them right now.
it's always been that way. But
Yeah.
it was different back in my time because they kept tabs on you to begin with. They learned your friends' parents,
Yeah.
excuse me, their parents, but they gave me a lot of leeway. They let me go do things that could have been dangerous.
Yeah.
But I was so independent that they could not harness me that
Yeah.
way. But they did make me tell them where I was going, but then sometimes I'd jump out the window and sneak away.
Mm-hmm.
I
I expect nothing less.
but I got to go to Colorado. I went on a backpacking trip
Mhm.
to the Rocky Mountains, and we hiked over the Continental Divide. I was the only black kid
Yeah.
there, and that did not scare me.
Yeah.
What scared me was the altitude.
Wow.
I passed out at the top of the summit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Passed out, but I wasn't my parents weren't afraid of these people, and I wasn't either for some reason. Because
was it like
I don't.
small families, kids, or was it like school kids?
No, school.
School kids, yeah.
Yeah, I do a sign up permission slip, and away we went. We took a bus all the way from Omaha to Colorado. Actually, we went to Wyoming and then hiked the divide over into Colorado.
Yeah.
But I did a lot. I went to Switzerland when I was, well, whatever, 1974 or 3. No, 74, I believe. And that was far away to be the only black spot in that group, too.
Yeah.
So my parents, I don't know if they trusted me or what the deal was, but they let me do a lot of things. And it wasn't, for some reason, well, I was too young to be paying attention to that kind of stuff anyway. I mean, I was too busy being a kid.
Yeah.
And I wasn't paying attention to what could happen to me if something were to happen to me. Except in Switzerland, I noticed something that happened is I crashed into the lodge because I flew off of a cliff. I was down and I was flying past all these people and I was wondering what's wrong with them. And next thing I knew, I was airborne. So I crashed and tumbled into, and I stood up in red, white, and blue and black. Snow everywhere. I was fucked up. I was lucky I didn't break anything, but I jumped up, grabbed my poles, walked into the lodge. Now, in the lodge, it was full packed with people. The entire lodge stopped talking. And then those people that were with me, my group, they parted.
Yeah.
They stood away from me like, nah, this Negro's by himself.
Yeah.
And I stood there looking at all these people in the lodge looking at me, and I'm like, so you know what I did? I looked to see if my fly was down.
Yeah.
And then I stood up and went, it's up. And the whole place started laughing. And I just went and sat down and they started talking again. But it was obvious to me that they weren't going to stick up for me.
Yeah.
Not even my group. But I was so used to that type of thing that it didn't really, somebody froze.
My husband gets the same way. Whenever we go out into public, he's always just like, what the fuck are these white people staring at me for? Why are they staring at me? And I'm just like, you know why it's because we're a mixed couple and because you're black. Because we live in racist Texas where, if you're walking while black, you're committing a crime. If you're driving while black, you're committing a crime. When you're with your white wife, you're committing a crime. I mean, like, it's Texas, man. Like, of course, these white people are going to be staring.
It happened to me in California.
Yeah.
California likes to talk about how liberal they are. Bullshit. Racism is everywhere.
Yeah.
And I had a Jewish girlfriend, white girlfriend. We got chased by a bunch of guys in a truck.
Jesus.
They stopped at a red light and jumped out of the truck and chased us. And I'm talking shit. No, fuck you, motherfuckers. What the fuck you? Because they were yelling racial slurs at me.
Wow.
And I was cussing them out.
Yeah.
And so they stopped and jumped out of the truck and chased us. And I'm looking back and talking to them, and she's like, "Shut up, Ray!" And so we ran around this corner, and she snatched me in a restaurant, and we hid in there. And she's like, "What is wrong with you?" I said, "I am so sick of this. You don't realize how sick of this I am. This has been 20 years of this nonsense, and I couldn't help it. I just."
Yeah, no, I get it. My husband feels the same way sometimes, and I don't start because I'm screaming just as much as he is inside. We've never actually been confronted. We had one of our white friends see us in the grocery store, and I hadn't seen this guy in a really long time. It had been probably a year since I'd seen him because, life. And we were in the grocery store, and the last time I saw him, his head was shaped bald. And then all of a sudden, I see this guy, and he's got a full head of hair. And he comes up behind me and my husband, and he goes, "Your kind ain't welcome here." I had my fists ready to go. I was going to, woo! And Derek stopped me, and he goes, Stop. It's Brad. We know Brad.
Oh,
He was fucking with us. And I was like,
you
oh man,
recognize
I'm
him?
so on the edge though, whenever we're in public and we're constantly getting stared at. And I'm already on edge when I go out in public. So I was like, Brad, I almost fucking killed you in Tom Thumb. I was like, you almost died, man.
They still stare. They stare at me all the time. Little kids stare at me a lot. I
Yeah.
don't know why. But they're always looking at me, and I'm like,
Yeah.
But it's not cool to go walking up to somebody else's kid and start, what are you looking at? Or
Yeah.
what are you thinking? But they stare. They just stare, and I'm out here in the fucking sticks.
Yeah.
Well, it's half city, half sticks. So the little white people here act like they'd never seen a black person before. Come on, it's 2026. How could you?
Yeah.
And this is the blackest area I've ever lived in.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I grew up in the UP of Michigan where we're 96% white. I really didn't ever see black people when I was a kid, ever. And the first time I ever saw a black kid, it was in Big Boy Restaurant. I saw another black kid that was about my age. And I was so curious. I was like, can I go say hi?
Kids are curious.
Yeah, I'm looking at my parents. I'm going, can I go say hi? I think he's my age. Can I go say hi? And then my dad was like, don't bother them. Just leave them alone. And I'm like, I really want to go say hi. I was so curious. And I did, as soon as my parents said, I went and said hi. But, I had never seen a black person before. So as a little kid, I'm like 5 years old, and I'm just like, I want to know you. Can I go say hi?
I went through all of the fucked up stuff that people talk about in that neighborhood in Omaha. People wanted me to touch my hair, wanting to, ask me strange questions, stare at me. I mean, it was intimidating at first, and it was a little angering because sometimes they did not look like they were nice enough to be in my face, asking me. I had a cake cutter. I had a big old afro. So I had this cake cutter and I used to hang it off my hair, right? Like that was the cool thing to do, is hang it off your hair. And these kids would get up in my face and they'd say, do you use that as a weapon? I said, a weapon? Why would I use this as a weapon? They said, there's a cake cutter. I said, you mean it really cuts cakes? I didn't know. I thought it was a hair pick. So I would get all sorts of weird things like that. People wanting to touch my hair, people wanting to touch my body. See, for every little one kid that gets curious, you don't realize there's 15 other kids that are that curious too with us. So, and it happened all the time out in that neighborhood for a while until they got to know that we were there. We were residents in that neighborhood. And so they stopped tripping.
Yeah.
But it took a long time for them to calm down and realize I was there. I mean, I had mothers grab their children out of the yard and run in the house with them and lock all the doors and the windows and peek through the shutters looking at me. And I'm like,
I know. Don't you want to just look at those people and go, give me a fucking break? My God.
Well, I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
I didn't understand.
Right.
Why did they do that? What ended up happening is I ended up internalizing that it's not okay to be black.
Right.
And when I got to the end of the street after that woman did that, a car full of station wagon kids in a station wagon drove past, rolled down their windows, and started yelling racial slurs at me with the parents sitting in the front seat.
Yeah.
And I didn't tell my mom because I knew if I did, she wouldn't let me walk to the store because that's where I was headed. I was just going down to this strip mall, and she wouldn't let me. She wouldn't. She would have driven me. Yeah. And I didn't want to be around parents. Ew, parents.
Leave me alone. Get out of my life.
Even from that age, I learned if you say certain things. My mother was a tigress.
Yeah.
And my father was a tiger.
I mean, you can tell because it comes off in you. Like I can tell like that there's certain things when people show me their personality and who they are, I'm like, oh, that must be the mom. Oh, that must be the dad. And then when you start to describe who they are, I'm like, oh yeah, I see them both in you.
Yeah, my mom, I wanted to tag along with her because she was getting arrested for protesting. and then my dad was doing his thing
Yeah.
for Major League Baseball, but she was the one that raised us.
Yeah.
So I wanted to hang out with her, and she was like, no, no, no. I swear I asked every time she was going to disappear. I knew she was going out to hang out in the streets.
Yeah.
And then my dad said, you can't do that. You're Bob Gibson's wife. We have an image to uphold. She said, yeah, whatever, Bob.
Yeah.
And just kept doing what she was doing. And I don't know if that's what led to their divorce, but even that was ugly because it was public.
Yeah.
It was in the newspaper. And I'd go to school and these kids were ruthless. They would ask me all these questions that I didn't know the answers to. I was already embarrassed and upset and angry. And I was like, leave me alone. I don't know. I'm not a grown up. They're the ones that are beefing. I don't know. Stop it. But again, when you're a celebrity's kid, there are no boundaries. They just burst right on in and start just demanding to know what the real deal is. And I never knew the real deal. I was like, hey, to this day, I don't know why my parents divorced.
Yeah.
His side of the family says one thing, and her side of the family says the exact opposite. So I never asked them because I was so traumatized by the fact I didn't even know they were in trouble because they were real good in front of the cameras.
Yeah.
And then there were things that, and they didn't fight or whatever in front of us. So I had no idea why they were getting a divorce, and I was just angry. I didn't like it. I started smoking.
Kind of that generation too. I mean, I remember my grandma even telling me stories. My grandma just passed away. She was 101 years old. And, my grandpa died before I was born. He died in like 1980, and I was born in 1982. And my grandma just died last week. So
I'm sorry.
Thank you. She was.
Oh, yeah, I did send you something about that.
Yeah. Thank you. I mean, she was amazing. And I'm just so sorry that we kind of were separated and we didn't get to spend as much time as we wanted to this last 10 years. But prior to that, my grandma was like we were tight. I love my grandma. Anyway, but she was very secretive about things that, happened. My mom really didn't know a lot of what went on between them. And I just started learning about what was going on because I was having problems in my marriage. So I would talk to my grandma about it. And then my grandma would start telling me things like, yeah, your Grandpa Tom. And I was like, Grandpa Tom, what? What? Tell me. What did Grandpa Tom do? And then I'd pour a little bit more vodka in her glass. I'm like, tell me more what Grandpa Tom did, So I got
oh my God.
Yeah. So I got the tea on
our whole family was like that. I had a whole family in California I didn't know a thing about. Wow. My mom said, get dressed. Come on, we're going to a reunion. I said, a reunion? What kind of reunion? Family reunion. I said, we ain't got no family here. She says, oh, yes, we do.
Yeah.
We went out to this park in Oakland, and it was full of freaking Johnsons. It was like, how come I didn't know about them?
Wow.
I was at least in my mid-20s to 30s.
Yeah.
Didn't know about that. Didn't know about that side. I said, why didn't you tell me? She didn't have an answer.
Yeah, I see, and I don't get it. I'm so curious about my family, and my husband is so curious about his family, and I did the ancestry shit because I was like, whatever. The government already knows everything about me anyway. The government already has my blood, got my cord blood, got my medical records, got everything anyway. So I was like, I want to know who I DNA matched with. And I found I DNA matched with this lady who is she's 6 months older than me. And she's got the same name as me. And she's a first cousin. And I've never met her in my life. And I was like, who the fuck is this? So I reached out to her and I'm like, hey, it's showing that you and I are first cousins. Who's your parents? And she's like, well, this is my mom, but I never knew my dad. So I'm like, cool. Then I got on the horn with all my other cousins and I'm like, hey, Michael, will you take a DNA test? We have a first cousin that we're trying to figure out who the dad is. And it's one of y'all's. Because it's not the sisters, it's one of y'all. So I reached out to my cousins and I asked them to take a DNA test, and it turned out it was Michael's sister. So my Uncle Jeff had a love child that nobody knew about for 40 years. And I found out who she was. I mean, let me just say, I'm giving my family all the reasons to hate me because all their secrets are coming out.
So bad.
Yeah. But I mean, but I thought it was great. Yeah, I loved it. I loved that I had a cousin that I didn't know anything about. I wasn't mad at anybody. She wasn't mad at anybody. Like, no, we were just happy to know each other. And this was such a secret for so long that I'm like, man, why? I get they have their reasons, but it's like, we're all adults now. Tell us the truth. You know?
I didn't even know the truth I didn't even know the truth was out there.
Yeah.
I had a cousin track me down on Facebook. I'd never heard of her at all.
Yeah.
And she happened to be a daughter of one of my dad's cousins. So I guess that made her a second cousin. Yeah. But she tracked me down and was like, where did you come from?
Yeah, hello.
I'm sure there's more of them out there because my dad we had large families until it hit that generation.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I think my dad and my mom were listening to white folks telling you can only have 2 maximum kids because the rest of my family had tons of kids.
Yeah, yeah.
And they were my best friends. Then I found out my mother's father was one of 14. I went, maybe those were all them motherfuckers I met at the reunion.
Yeah.
But I didn't know about them, and I didn't know the dynamics. I didn't know the beef. I didn't know what was going on. And I don't know why parents don't think we might bump into this stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't. I don't think they think about this stuff and what the kids might go through if you don't tell them what the heck is going on in the family. Yeah,
and especially, I mean, and I can't speak for Black families because obviously I'm Minnesota white, but I can't speak for Black families, but I do know, everything that my husband has said to me that, it's just, there's so many things that happened within, especially like my husband comes from a slave family and all of just the names. And it's almost like they just want a certain generation just wanted it just buried, and my grandparents were the same way. It was like that silent generation. They were part of the silent generation,
Yeah.
And they just wanted shit buried. So, I mean, I get it. It is generational and everything. And there's just things and harm and stuff that happened within families that they just wanted it to just be buried with them.
I found a slave in my family.
Really?
Yeah. And I didn't know who she was because, look, they did horrible record keeping of slaves.
They did.
I mean, they don't even get your name right. I have Aunt Barbara, and they called her something else.
Yeah.
And I was like, but my aunt told me who she was because I was like, okay, there's this woman out here. She married a Gibson, and who is she? There's no other information about her. There's no maiden name. There's no links to any kind of family. There was nothing. Who is this woman? Oh, that was a slave.
Wow.
I said, really?
Yeah.
Well, where's the rest of the information? She said, you probably won't find it because they were so bad about that because they didn't want people to know. Back in those days,
DNA would bring everybody together because, I mean, once you start matching with people, but at the same time, I also understand the deep-rooted betrayal and untrusting feeling that Black people have with the government. So, like, I don't push it, and I'm just like, okay,
they wouldn't have had DNA for her. She was a great grandmother.
But they would maybe have DNA for her children.
True. But I didn't know her maiden name. So I didn't know. I couldn't trace anything because they had zero information out there about her.
Right.
Zero.
Yeah. And we'd have to keep in mind, too, that, like, slavery was I mean, like there was still people living that were slaves not too long ago. I mean, like this is
Yes.
recent history, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
And this country is so embarrassed about all this bullshit. They want to bury everything.
And you know, for
They just
one, we
wanna-
should be embarrassed because what we did was fucking terrible. And we should
what they're still doing is
have a
fucking
reckoning
terrible.
for that. Yeah. 100%. But yeah, I just, you know, I think we're at that point now where we need to get over the feeling of shame and we need to start doing something about the shame. We need to start the reckoning process and we need to start making things right in this country with what happened with going back as far as the natives. I mean, and I know, you know, or indigenous people here, because that's where, you know,
the first big genocide happened.
yeah, and that's the same genocide that Hitler took notes from and said, hey, we're going to do what the United States did. Yeah.
They didn't take notes. They sent them over here.
Mm-hmm.
They came here and hobnobbed with the slave owners and the Jim Crow terrorists. They hobnobbed with them and then took that shit and went back and terrorized the Jews.
Yeah.
Fascism came from racism, people. And I hope everybody in this fucking chat over here knows that.
Mm-hmm.
And stop thinking that fascism is over here, racism is over there, so you don't have to deal with racism.
Mm-hmm.
Bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
You don't deal with racism. That's the root. That's the root cause of fascism.
Yep.
Was looking at what these white people here did and copying them.
Yep.
And then they put in some extra stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, burning them and all that shit that they did over in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
But they got that from here.
Yeah.
They came here to learn these racist fucking ways and then took them back and called it fascism.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know where that word came from, fascism. But it was still something that they lifted from white Americans.
Right. But then, like, where did white Americans come from? White Americans came from Europe. So, you know, it's kind of like, it's more just, it's white supremacy. We're all, you know, like America was birthed from white supremacy right from the very beginning. The second we stepped foot on Eagle Island. Yeah. The second we stepped foot here, and the
indigenous trusted, they trusted them too much. They were up to no good. They were up to stealing and ownership, and they were not. They lulled those indigenous people and then killed them all.
Yeah,
there's only 8 million left in this country.
I know, that's terrible. I didn't realize it was just 8 million.
Just 8 million, and that includes the ones that think they're white. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of Native Americans or indigenous who, because they got mixed with white people, they think they're the leaders of the indigenous race, I guess you could say. And so they look down on darker skinned natives. They look down just like white people. They think they're white. Yeah. And there's only 8 million of them.
Mm-hmm. I know. It's such a sad, disgusting part of our history in this country. And at what point do we say, okay, we need to own this and we need to make this right now. We need to get reparations
as soon as possible.
Yes, I know. I'm trying, Ray. I'm screaming.
I know you are. Listen, I've bumped into a bunch of white people on, believe it or not, Facebook, which is the last place I thought I would see them.
Yeah.
Where they're telling the freaking truth about everything. And I'm like, oh, could we be hitting a mark where people stop running from this, own it, so we can change it?
Right. Black people, and that's what I say too. I'm like, isn't everyone just tired? Aren't we tired of this? Aren't we just fucking tired?
Listen, privilege is a hell of a drug.
Yeah, it is.
And
it is.
They can hide behind that. They can take their little breaks when we don't get no breaks. And they're just not, they're performative. They don't want to take no risks for us. That's why we're not out on the street right now. Because we know what will happen if we go out there. Y'all will pull out your cell phones and record it. You're not going to stick up for us. You won't take any risks.
Yeah.
That's why this freaking regime is in power. People in this country won't risk shit anymore. And we used to be like that. Americans used to take risks. White Americans took risks. but they won't take risks for people that don't look like them.
Yeah, it's gonna have to affect them in order to get them out
That's
there. And it's
well, fascism may do exactly that. In fact,
I really think
this is
it
the
is.
first time a lot of these people are seeing, oh hell, we can be oppressed too,
Yeah.
and oh, we don't like this. But
Mhm.
I have a feeling those very people who don't like it, if it got in their face and knocked on their door, they'd capitulate.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of cowards in this fucking country.
Yeah.
And I'm from the military world. I've never seen so many punk ass motherfuckers.
Yeah, I know. My husband calls them great.
They run their mouths, run their mouths, run their mouths.
Yeah.
But the minute you call on them and say, show up here, this time, this place, show up here for us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think I gotta go put the meatloaf in the refrigerator. I mean,
yeah. Well, that's why I said on Substack the other day, I was sitting there watching Pete Hegseth, and I was watching that fucking hearing that he was doing. And I was like, you know what? I got on my phone and I was like, yes, I will fight Pete Hegseth, and yes, I will win. Period. Because I'm looking at him and I'm going, you soft ass. Oh my God. He's like alpha male. Like he's the pinnacle of maleness.
No, we're in trouble if he's the pinnacle. Shit, I'm more man than he is. And I'm not even, well, I ain't gonna get into that right now, but look, it's all of them. I wish I was 30 years younger.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I would start something to go start removing those people.
Yeah.
And, but I have mobility issues, and so I can't run around in the streets anymore. Yeah. Even though I was part of the 80s movement, you know, once I was affected by everything I saw in the 60s.
Yeah.
Everything. And when I became an adult, I was looking for a fight somewhere. I was protesting in the Bay Area. I was protesting on behalf of the LGB. I was protesting on behalf of Black people. I was just, and I did that and did my work too. I wasn't afraid to risk my job.
Yeah.
I risked my job in the military.
Yep.
To ask for something that the way that I did it got me in trouble. But
no, you don't say.
But it was like, I'm glad I was raised without the internet, and that I was raised watching the 60s. But it's frustrating because people don't have that kind of chutzpah anymore. Oh, by the way, I grew up in a Jewish neighborhood.
Yeah. Carrie, sometimes, I've noticed even in the chat, sometimes people are just listening. Sometimes it's like they're listening on the way home from work, or they're cooking dinner, or they're doing something and they're just listening. So, yeah. And I'm really terrible at engaging in the chat as well, because my ADHD brain, it's like I'm trying to focus on what Ray is saying, and then I look over at the chat and I'm like, shit, what I miss? What am I saying? And I want to make sure that I'm paying attention to my guests. So I'm really sorry if I'm not answering a lot of people in the chat. But I do want to go back up really quick, because there was somebody right in the beginning that I thought you would want to know about. So Ginger said, from St. Louis, love Bob Gibson. I went to his retirement party.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
When he retired, where was I? I don't know where I was. I wasn't, unless it was in our house, I wasn't allowed to go anyway, because I was a minor. I was a minor when he retired.
Yeah.
So I think I was 16 or 17.
Yeah. And then Carrie said, oh my God, your mom must have been beside herself, my dear child. Because we were talking about what you gave him and all the trouble you got into.
I fucked her car up really bad.
Yeah.
I ran into a mailbox and.
Yeah, and she also said your dad was revered. He was considered a class act that didn't need acknowledgement. Yeah. It sounds like, it sounds like your dad was, and I can see it in you as well. Even when, just like, you can tell that, I can tell the things that you've gotten from your dad, the personality traits that kind of you've absorbed from your dad. And then I can tell that, like, I can hear and see your mom in you. just the way that you are like feisty and like your mom was out in the streets protesting, and I can see that in you, and she had empathy, and I can see that in you, and I don't know. I think that's why it's almost like we're kind of talking. You said your mom's name was Christine?
No, Charlotte.
Charlotte. Okay, sorry.
Charlene.
Charlene. Okay. I'm deaf too, by the way. And I can't hear a damn thing anymore. I am. Like, my hearing is literally
Are you going?
out.
You better get some hearing aids.
I think it's because I wear these stupid things all the time, and then when I take them out,
I did notice that these
my
muffles
hearing is just it's not what it used to be. So I'm constantly like, ha. Yeah, but yeah, you can definitely see your parents in you for sure.
Well, I'm a carbon copy of my dad's personality.
Yeah.
But I've got so much rearing from my mom that, yeah, a lot of her rubbed off on me too.
Yeah.
But my dad was a very balls to the wall kind of guy. Him and his buddies integrated Major League Baseball. They leaned on the Cardinals so hard because they used to put the black players over in boarding homes.
Oh my God.
While the white players got put up in hotels and catered to and all this shit, and they couldn't fraternize together on the ball team except during games. And so Bill White, Curt Flood, and my father said, we're going to change this.
Mm-hmm.
And they went to their manager, Red Shandies, who went to the Cardinals executive office and said, these players aren't going to play anymore if you guys don't start changing things. They're tired of being treated like this.
Yeah.
And so it happened. And when it happened for the Cardinals, it was like dominoes and boom, 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 boom.
Mm-hmm.
It started happening all across baseball. So he did his part for the civil rights movement by integrating baseball.
Yeah.
Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
And I was so proud of him, but I didn't really understand it when I was a kid.
Right.
Because that was my normal.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that he was such a big deal until I grew up.
Yeah.
Then when I told him how much of a big deal he was, he didn't know what to do. He didn't know how to act. He was like, okay.
Dad, I don't know if you know this, but you're kind of a big fucking deal, man.
I told him he was like my hero. I looked up to him, even though he didn't know it. All these things, and he was like, he didn't know. He was almost like, to me, the way he was to his fans. He was just he would shrink when it came to that personal attention, and maybe a lot of that had to do with he didn't have a father. Mm-hmm. His father died 2 months before he was born.
Oh man!
But he had a lot of brothers and sisters. Mm-hmm. So there were 7, 8 of them at one point, but one of them died. So there were 7, and he got raised by all of them because grandma had to work. Mm-hmm. She had to work overtime to feed all them kids by herself. Mm-hmm. So he didn't have good role models.
Yeah.
To be a man, let alone a superstar.
Yeah.
Uncle Josh, the senior brother, kicked his fucking ass and made him famous.
That's another thing. The reason why I think like our parents were the way that they were is because they were parentified. Like they were literally kids being raised by kids. And that's what my parents were actually now too, because like both my grandma and my grandpa, they were both business owners. And then, like they were always busy. They worked 7 days a week. So they had a lot of kids too. My mom was one of 6 or 7, 6, I think. And, like she was raised by her brothers and sisters as well. And I think
Yes. My dad had children raising him. So it just who's talking about Roberto Clemente and why? Clemente. He broke my dad's leg. Line drive hit him in the ankle, and he kept playing. And they had to take him out at some point. And then he came home with a cast on his leg and terrorized me with it. But Roberto Clemente died in a plane crash early in his life. But he was a hell of a player, but I don't know why he's talking about it. Well, yeah, he was from Puerto Rico, Dominican, somewhere down there. He was from there. And oh, segregate. Yes, one. And now I won't watch Major League Baseball because you know what they decided to do? Stop hiring black players, and now they're hiring them from the Dominican Republic because they're cheaper and they're desperate and they'll do anything to play Major League Baseball. And what do you mean a cap? Not a big cap. It doesn't. But if you're a young kid, how do you know? You don't know to fight for more pay. And if you do, and you're black or you're some other race besides white, they'll get rid of you. Yeah, it is fucked up. So they're hiring Japanese and Dominicans and Puerto Ricans and slowly getting rid of black men out of Major League Baseball. So fuck them. My father would have never tolerated that. And it's looking whiter and whiter and whiter and more Hispanic and Japanese. And I'm like, what the hell? And they're mad because we're asking for what we deserve. That's right. If you're talented and stuff like that, they need to value instead of valuing us. Fuck you. We'll get rid of you. We'll find somebody else. And I've got friends that are really into baseball, and I'm like, I don't care. Well, why not? I said, my dad would have never tolerated that. I mean, just I don't. It's racism and control and punishing you for asking what you're worth, asking for what you're worth. It's bullshit. But again, there's all these little nuances and stuff going on in society that white people don't even know about because we don't necessarily trust certain people with that information of how we feel about what's going on here. I don't trust most of you. Huh? I- oh. That's because we're not the problem. I just read an article yesterday that said, or maybe it was today, white people are white people's problem. That's the first time I've ever seen that. And I thought about it. And I thought, and they're steady thinking it's everybody else, but it's not everybody else. It's them against them. Because if you try to step away from them, they get really mad at other white people for doing that and call y'all all sorts of names and try to belittle you and shame you and all sorts of things to get away from their mindset. And it's like we don't have that in the black community. We're if we hadn't been drug here the way we were and as angry about that as we are, we're a peaceful, loving people. Even in Africa, as long as tribes didn't fight with each other in their own communities, it was peace. Um, and now, because they got colonized, but what do you mean they helped build it? Like the indigenous. Mhm. Well, came here, went to Africa trying to get their resources. So they colonized a lot of countries in Africa. Well, all of them, really. But what do you mean when they came here to build this place? They didn't build shit. We did. We built this economy, and they sat here with their whips. Ugh. I'm like, oh, the things we get for building this economy that white people enjoy today pisses me off because we're the ones who built it. Y'all some lazy motherfuckers, to be honest. And I've worked with plenty of them. And we had this guy that used to come to work and put his feet up on the desk, newspaper over him, sleeping on the job. Guess what would happen to me if I had tried that crap? But he was lazy. He couldn't do his job at all. They finally got rid of him, and you know what? I ran into him. He got promoted to his level of incompetency somewhere else, and I ran into him somewhere else. And I was like, "You're still working here in IT?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm a supervisor now." I'm like, "Oh God, what?" But it's like even when it comes to what's going on in this country, when is the laziness? Well, maybe the laziness will never leave. But there's people like you and people, but you're so sparse compared to the numbers of people. Uh, wow. Such a jealous little asshole. That there's this jealousy streak running through. Oh, I know. I had a business that I started and it was black only, and I put it on Fuckerbook. And I would not let white people in there because we have a bad habit of toning it down when we're around white people. I've seen it on Substack. I see it on Substack of being trying to be small in order not to scare y'all, so y'all have invite us to seat at the table. I don't give a flying fuck if people like my style or not. Either they see something in me and call me along, but I'm not gonna shrink myself down just to, so I wouldn't let them in there. Oh, they cussed me out. They was like, and I put it in the description. This is for black people only. And they were so mad that they couldn't sit there and do their little control thing. That's what happens when they come into our spaces. Is all of a sudden they want to control shit. They want to run shit. They want to be in charge of things. So nah. If you don't come in here to learn, bye bye. So I wouldn't let them in there, and I got cussed out at least once a week. It's like, nope, couldn't go to the bathroom either. I got caught up in that. We traveled across country. We couldn't stop at gas stations. We had to piss on the side of the car. Yeah, you just, yeah. Juan just said something important. We built the White House, and then they don't, and then they're kicking us out of it. They were. They were so pissed that they put asshole in there after him. They, they were so their payback was to elect some idiot like Trump, and I was like, "Oh, isn't this lovely?" And that guy didn't even. He was just a black president. He didn't care for black people. He he took the tactic of caping for everybody, so he could stay alive. I mean, come on. If he had caped for us, they would have assassinated him the first 6 months. So, and a lot of people that are upset with him for um, not doing more in that area, being pro-black or whatever it is. I understand why he didn't. I was in that position all my childhood, and when you're by yourself, nah, you don't try to step out of line and get yourself killed. So, I had to play. I had to play it really cool. I had to. I was a part of everybody because if I wasn't, they'd all hate me. That is what Obama did, and he's just not the activist that they think he was. He was a politician. He played the game. When you go high, I go low. I said, "That's okay, brother. You can go high, and I'll go low and bust their kneecaps out. Go low, give them an uppercut, punch them in the nuts, and just watch them cave." And then I said, "I ain't going high. Oh no, you can do that over there. I'll give you autonomy. Just don't try to recruit me into however you're thinking. That's fine." I think he did a wonderful job, despite how they hated him, just like they hated MLK Jr. But, yeah, yeah, I was one of them. There's racist trolls running all over Substack. I'm surprised there's none in here in the chat, but in the bigger people, oh my God, their lives are full of these assholes. This asshole that was in the live earlier kept calling Jasmine Crockett a nigger. Oh, were you in there? Report him. Look, the he was calling her a cunt. He was calling her stupid. He was calling her. I was like, uh, the problem is, if you block them, they still show up in your lives. If you block them, I think that's a horrible feature of Substack. If you block somebody, you shouldn't see them in the chat at all. But they ain't listening to us. I've been complaining about that for 6 months to a year, and they're not listening. They, don't- I think they like it. I think they think it's driving something up. Mm-hmm. No, oh, AI. Yep, yep. They're all over the place. Ah, it's addicting, and it's a lot of things that distract us from maybe even the misery that we're experiencing through this regime. And it's just it's so easy. I go over to Facebook for the reels. They've got the funniest reels, and I'm trying to pull away from them altogether, and I'm gonna miss those most of all because I've never YouTube won't even match what's going on over there. YouTube has shorts, and Facebook has reels, but there's no, I wouldn't either. I used them, and they didn't like me because I used them, so they got rid of me. They took away my personal account forever. TikTok, oh, they'll take your account away. You know, they take you out on TikTok. They will take out everybody because these oligarchs are buying up all the media, and AI is too stupid to take over people's jobs. I'm sorry, that was my career, IT, and I saw this coming a mile away. And I tried to tell my friends and people like that. They all looked at me like, "What?" And I said, "Don't follow AI. They're going to release it prematurely. I promise you, they're going to release it none." And they stuck it in the big, beautiful bill, that big bullshit bill, that there won't be any for 10 years. Fuck! What? Why did we let this happen? I mean, come on. It's like, are you kidding me? So desperate. Yeah, mm. Truth to power. Nope. Yep. I don't know how we're gonna fix this. The only thing, but they might, but you got another 40 years to live. I don't. But well, I was lucky. It's all over. It's over. I think it's over now, but that's just what I think. I think we're under authoritarian rule now. It's just they haven't lowered the final boom. Is all. That's what I see. And No, it's not fully yet, but it's enough that we're well, it's enough that we're just rendered sitting here watching it go down the toilet, and we're all on the Titanic with the ship, and we can't. Everybody's going, but what do I do? 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 Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, got some of those millions got taken out by the gerrymandering they were doing and the redlining and districting, and they are throwing away people's registrations. You don't have to tell me to vote. I've been voting since I was 18. But it's the progressive. The progressive ain't telling me anything that is exciting me because they're still avoiding racism. We have pulled this country out of fucking hot water. I don't know how many times, and still get pushed to the back of the bus. That pisses me off. It's like, what? We're always told to wait. Wait for what? So you can take care of all of your white people, and then if you have time and anything left over, you'll give it to fuck your crumbs. I'm like, I'm so ugh. Even if we go blue in during midterms, are they going to hold this shit show accountable? I don't know. Yeah, we got to get money out of politics. Money out of politics, but we got to get the government before we can change anything. We got to get this place back. Ugh. Nope. It's the flip side of the same coin. They, to me, are just as bad as Republicans. It's like they're lying about who their party really is. No kidding. People think there isn't, but there's a lot of it. Racism is not partisan issue. It's like sexual assault. It's not. A, it doesn't matter whether you're independent, Republican, Democrat. That has nothing to do with politics. It's a sickness, and it's a control game, and it's a whole bunch of other shit that has nothing to do with politics. So I, we got to get some people in there that have a conscience, whether they're Oh yes. Yep. Yep. Get them out. Get money out. Get them out. But I also believe that if we don't start a revolution to back up what we're doing, we're sitting ducks because these politicians, I don't trust none of them. I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. I'm not independent. Well, I'm not in any party. I'm just black. That's my party. And I vote for who's going to move stuff forward. So it's, if it's progressives, fine. If it's somebody else, fine. But I don't trust none of them. They've never done us right. We, well, I already know. I already know. I can't tell you his name because I'm horrible with names, but it's a black man. He's the Democrat in my district, but he's kind of. But oh, this is not a. Well, this guy is not a Justin Pearson. He's playing the game. So his name is at the top of my head, but I can't think of it. It's just and we've got Warnoff and what's the white guy that's punching them in the mouth right now? Ossoff. Yeah, we got him. But in my district is this other guy, and he's, I don't know how I feel about him because I think he's letting this city be stupid. Um, in Georgia, there's no incumbents. I can tell you how many ballots I've seen where there was a Republican name there and nothing, no Democrat, no nothing running against these fools. I don't know if that happens. Huh? You think? Oh, really? Texas? Hmm. Hmm. I came here from Texas. Um, oh my God. I came here from San Antonio. And I also contracted in Houston when I had a when I had a career. But Texas, I was so glad to get away from there. And then I ran from the frying pan into the fire coming here. This place isn't any better than Texas. So sugar. Oh, I know. We got some bugs. We got some bugs that I don't know what the fuck they are. I was walking around out there and I'm like, what the hell was that? I, I don't like bugs. And so I'm running from, I'm like, oh, let me go move over here. Um, Georgia has the strangest bugs. I think Florida is the same way, but it's just, it's weird. They've got, but so does Texas. Texas got them fucking tree roaches. I had one in my bathroom. I ran out of the fucking house. I ran down the street and got the maintenance man and said, ooh, ooh, I had just went to Texas. And I said, this thing in my bathroom. And he said, man, I've been working here 5 years. I've never seen a great big roach. I said, well, my bathroom. And when you go in there, shut the door behind you. Because if that thing come flying out at me, I swear to God, I'm going to start shooting holes in the wall. So he he locked himself in the bathroom and he killed it. And he came out and he said, I have never seen a roach that big. I said, and it was making noises. They have something in their wings that make them buzz. No, no, no. They're roaches. They're tree roaches. Tree roaches. Texas had the biggest roaches I'd ever seen in my fucking life. And then he said, I said, well, what did you do to it? What did you do with it? Oh, it's in your drain. I said, no, get it out the drain. Plus, you got to do something. Yeah. I'm just, I'm a bug. I have a bug. Yeah, see, Natasha knows. Natasha knows about them. They will fly because they were flying around my daggone bathroom. Don't be laughing. She's laughing at me. uh, oh, I have a bug phobia, literally. I used to pay my little sister to carry me to the front door because grasshoppers would jump across the sidewalk. And I'd pay her and she'd take me to the front door because she loved bugs. She'd have them in her pockets. And my mother'd say, Ho, empty your pockets in that. And sure enough, grasshoppers, snakes, you name it, she had it in her pockets. It was like, and that you're weird. But take me to the door. Ew, ew. Well, we're very like minded. Oh, and Chris, oh, that would have been fun if he was here too. He did a live at 10:30. What is it? But where do you go? Where do you go when you no? Where does it send you? I ain't doing it. Yeah, right. I don't know. I don't like using them things. QR codes. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. Shopify. I ain't got no money. I like that. Oh, I gotta save this. Okay. Yeah, I know. I've been watching. It's been fun, Evie. I always like talking to you. You're one of the white people I trust. Just so you know, I do, and that's not. I don't say that lightly. And Carrie D, I don't know if she's Carrie D. She's my buddy. Yeah, we talk a lot privately, but he was the one that would say, "Where is everybody? How come nobody else is talking in here?" He's ball to the wall. But anyway, it's been a blessing. Thank you for having me on. Who said that? Oh, thanks, yeah, you need to put that. You need to put that on your T-shirt. Yeah, on a QR. Put. I'm one of the good ones to put the one you just. I'm not gonna tell anybody. I'm not gonna break the surprise. Okay. Yeah, stop being so damn busy. You're gonna burn out. Don't lose your sense of humor. That's when you fall into depression. So been there, done that. All right, sweetie.